All right. But just give me a simple idea what you know about the novel Winthrop Street. Have you got any idea about Winthrop Street? Yeah. Have you done this novel previously, or like? Fine.
No, sir, only
Sorry.
After second chapter only I have done.
Fine. Okay. But what I'm trying to do is that I will just give a simple idea about. Give a simple idea about a novel and then the elements of the novel, and we'll discuss about the characterization, and then we'll see like what the motive of the writer in creating this kind of an amazing piece of fiction. So that's what I'm going to basically try to discuss with you. And then later we'll discuss about like the thematic concerns of the novel, so that you'd be able to understand some of the context of the novel clearly. And those, you see, the context would definitely help you to understand the nature of the questions that you will be getting for your exams, and also to reply them effectively. So only thing, the most important thing is to understand the characterization and about the themes. You understand what I mean? Fine. And now what is your idea about a fiction? Now this is of course a lengthy fiction, and this is a lengthy fictional narrative, right? The Winthrop Street is a lengthy fictional narrative, and dealing with about a few characters, and the characterization is really important here, because the incidents, the settings, and that all imitate the real life situations. So usually this is what the writer does in a fiction. They try to get some characters, and those characters imitate the real life situations and the real life characters. You understand? So this depiction, of course, goes with the middle class, working class characters engage in ordinary pursuits. Obviously inventing different situations, and also giving us, to the readers, different kinds of impressions, and reporting lots of facts as they occur in this story. So novels, of course, like vary. That depends on many types of novels you find. You understand? So we can't give any neat classifications in terms of novel. We can't give any neat classifications in terms of novels, because it can give different, different angles, dimensions. All right, are you clear up to that? Yeah. Whatever you feel important, you have better write them down. And also, now I would like to tell you about elements of the novel. Okay, what do you think about an element? What is an element? Now, when it comes to a novel, you see there's a pyramidal structure of a novel. There's a pyramidal structure of a novel. And then see, that structure is built up based on some elements. Otherwise, simply a writer may not come out with a piece of writing like that, and it has to be well organized. It has to be a well organized piece of writing. So for that, we need to have, what's the first element that you may look around in a fiction? What's the first element, as you know? The setting. What is it? The setting. We call it the general locale, or like the setting of the events, right? The setting of the events. And especially in terms of the Winthrop Suites, we got to know lots of things here. the social milieu here, the social background, the social environment, or the social backdrop of the story is nicely done, and is nicely done in line with the characters and all, in line with the characters. Are you clear with it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And also you see the customs, the manners of the characters, and also you see they are also part and parcel of the story, and they also create a unique and a picturesque background. They also create a unique and a picturesque background to the story. That's all I can tell you about the setting. And then you get the plot, the plan. So the careful arrangement by an author of incidents in a narrative to achieve a desired effect. So now here the Vendor of Swiss by R.K. Narayan, he has his own, his own plan for the story. So in order to achieve his desired narrative effect, he has woven the characters and the sequence of the incidents in nicely and in a more effective manner. Nicely and in more effective manner. So that's what it touches the heart of the readers. It touches the heart of the readers. Are you clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just giving you a simple idea, just giving you a brief idea about the plot. And that's what, because so the writer deliberately does it purposely, does it with the interrelated actions and the choice of the arrangements of the characters in presenting and in resolving a conflict, as you know, at the end, like how this resolution is brought out. Okay, so that's all about the plot. That's all about the plot. And let me also tell you a few things about the character and the characterization. Character and the characterization. Yeah, so a person in a literary work, you see, is almost like a person in a real life. Yeah, because the literary characters' personal qualities and the actions are limited by his or her function in the story, whether the character seems designed and actions, and whether the characters seem like designed to fit to the plot, and you see from the character, and these things are there, of course. So, but anyway, the hero is usually an admirable figure in a character. I mean, with regard to the characterization, a hero is usually a admirable figure, as you know that. And there's an also exception with the anti-hero, and how we call inept, or otherwise the ridiculous characters. But we don't here see such ridiculous characters, right? And the method by which the author, creates the appearance and the personality of imaginary persons and reveal their characters. So characterization is the ability to bring the people, his or her imagination, to life for the reader. So those characterizations, the elements of the characterization might bring, you see, a imaginary character to the reader. Imaginary character to the reader. So that's all about character and the characterization. And also we can discuss few things about the methods of characterization and the direct descriptions you find of physical appearance and the explanation of the character traits or the character attributes, character traits or the qualities or the features of the character. The direct description, the direct, or we call it a direct description of the physical appearance. or the traits or the attributes. Because the author tells the reader that what sort of a person, the character is. So like it's very obvious then like now when it comes to Jagan, and then you have a clear idea if you are going through the story, and then about Mali, you have a clear idea like what kind of a character is, because these based on those characteristics, or we call them the attributes or the character traits. So you can clearly judge like he or she is this kind of a person. So this one with the characterizations, with these particular characteristics is very clear, and you do absolutely understand the type of the person. You do absolutely understand the type of the person, right? And then also about theme. What is called a theme? As you know, should there be a theme for a story, for a fiction? Definitely, there should be a theme. Yeah, without a theme, it's not obvious that what the writer is trying to say. But writer is trying to take out something, bring out something to the reader's mind. So theme is what actually? The main idea. The main idea that the writer expresses is, of course, that is the theme. Theme can also be defined as the underlying meaning of the story, the basic meaning of the story, the basic idea. So theme of a novel is more than its subject matter, because the author's techniques can play as strong a role in developing a theme as the actions of the characters. So novel themes cannot be interpreted in a specific or with a narrow meaning. It can be interpreted, it can be explained in a specific narrow meaning because of its length and the range of characters. So even the range of characters, the length of the story also count on that, also count on the theme. You understand? So then only we can clear it up. And then also you see it also uncovers the large number of conflicts and the scenes and the variety of interpretations of the main idea. In short, the theme is a statement that the novel seems to be making about its subject matter. So the theme is all about the subject matter. Now, this is what I can tell you, because now in order to understand the novel clearly, you need to have an idea about the setting, plot, characterization, method of characterization, and as well as the theme. Now, in terms of the novel, The Window of Sweets, we have to clearly understand about all these features of this pyramidal structure. Then only, because we find like ups and downs in the story, and the characters are beautifully woven in order to bring out the writer's motive, the writer's perspective. So writer might mean different aspects of life and different situations, and about the generational gaps and about the cultural differences, and you see lots of issues are spoken over here. So when we study the characters, it's really easy for us to understand the writer's purpose. All right. Okay. And when it comes to you see, when it comes to especially when it comes to the Vendor of Streets, it's very obvious that you see the writers, the style of writing. So stories usually can be written in first person. It can be first person narrative. It can be second person narrative, like using the pronoun you, or it can even be third person narrative. If it is like third person narrative, it has to be like he, she, and like it or they. So basically, third person narrative is also called as omniscient narrative. Omniscient in the sense means to say that all knowing. So the character, the writer knows all about the characters, all knowing. So the third person narrative. third person narrative. Are you clear? First person narrative with I or we, and second person you. Third person you usually get like he or she, right? Now here when it comes to see, like I'll tell you a few things about the first person narrative. First person narrative point of view, the author tells the events through a character who refers to himself as I, right? So such a narrative generally plays a major role in the action. Such a narrative, I mean to say about the first person narrative using the pronoun I. So it can be I, me, my, whatever, right? And so the events recounted as, yes, the events recounted as she experiences from she experiences them or remembers them or reflect about them. Sometimes a first person narration can have multiple narrators, each of whom recounts his or her own history. Third person narrative are of two types. One is omniscient. It can be unlimited. Usually omniscient narration or omniscient narrative is unlimited, but it can sometimes be limited as well. It can sometimes be limited. There are some stories, short stories. You find some, the writer uses the third person narrative, but that is not, of course, unlimited, but limited, right? If you study further literature in advanced level, so you will know that how the omniscient limited narrative is used. All right. So the type of narration, right? First person, second person, and third person. And in the limited point of view, the story is revealed through the eyes of a single character. The reader has access to the inner thoughts and the feelings of only one character and receives the story as that character understands and experiences. Okay. Are you clear up to there?
Yes.
You get an idea. So what I advise you, suggest you is that you just get the things in short forms, and now you have a clear idea about the type of narrative, right? It can be first person, it can be third person, or like second person as well. Usually second person is very rare in stories, but we find in short stories, we find in short stories second person also. And usually the more effective way of writing is in the third person narrative, the writer's point of view, and using he, she. And you see, we can even call it as omniscient narrative, because all knowing narrative.